I'm telling you, the Jets have been bad before. This is as bad as it's ever been.
Fires one over the middle of the traffic. Is tipped, batted around. It's going to be intercepted by New England.
And he showed some very encouraging things, but he needs to show more.
I think if you're a player in that locker room, be pissed off this offseason.
I mean, I think this is the bottom, right? So now it's nowhere but up from here, and they need to really do some self-scouting. You know, they have to go back and find what a Jet is.
If there is a player, regardless of position, that we feel can come in here and be that type of difference maker, yeah, we need to talk about it.
The path is crystal clear on where this organization needs to go and the things that we need to address.
Joe Douglas is not afraid to make a big move. He's not afraid to take a big swing. He's not afraid to lose. The best thing about Joe Douglas to me is that he goes for it all the time.
New York Jets signing a free agent guard, Laken Tomlinson. The Jets love Tomlinson. Former Bengals tight end C.J. Uzomah, a 3-year, $24 million contract signed. Cornerback DJ Reed and safety Jordan Whitehead. Both good players signed to very reasonable below-market deals. A great job by Jets general manager Joe Douglas.
There's a plan in place. Joe Douglas is really being deliberate on what types of people. Culture.
Jets have spent the second most money out of any team. They're just gobbling up all that talent, using that money.
Exactly what they wanted to pinpoint it, and did so at the right price.
Having 2 picks inside the top 10, 4 picks inside of the top 40, it's a real opportunity to get better quickly.
There's power in these picks for the New York Jets. They can pretty much do whatever they want to do in this draft. Now it's time to take the next step in this build.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
They say it can't be done. They say we have no chance. Hey, let me tell you something. Any man can be beat on any day.
This is Daniel Smith from Jets Guru. Welcome to the show. All gas, no brakes. Let's go, Jets. Woo!
What's going on, Jets Nation? CJ the Painkiller D. Simone here, and you are watching Jets Guru. Now, give it up for your host, Mr. Daniel Smith!
All right, Jets Guru in the house. What is going on, everybody? Good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in each and every week. Appreciate your support. We are on a new channel here. It's different, right? We're on YouTube, but listen, guys, we got to make the switch. It's time. I've been telling you guys, right? 3 years we've been on Facebook, built it up from 0 likes to over 3,000 followers on Facebook. Thousands of views on all the videos we've done, player interviews, tons of support, giveaways. We sold t-shirts, merchandise, all sorts of stuff. And we're going to continue to do that on Facebook. But we need to get a little something out. It's a lot of work. JR's putting all these sick edits in. Me and Kevin, we're watching games 2-3 times, doing our homework, reading articles, writing articles, getting every bit of information that we can. Why are we going to limit ourselves, right? I'm not in the world of limit. I'm in the world of taking off and keeping it going, right? We always progressing in life, and that's what we're doing here at Jets Guru. So this is our new home. YouTube is going to be our new home for the Thursday show. And listen, I appreciate all the support, but this is where we need it. This is it right here. This is the final challenge, the final task of the game for you guys. We need you guys to go on our YouTube, subscribe, follow, and share. And let's bring that crowd over at least just one day a week over here to YouTube, Kevin. And I'm glad to see you again. We got camp underway, dude. I am super stoked. I mean, you can't ask for anything better when you're talking about NFL football right around the corner. How excited are you for this camp and this preseason to begin? I think we might have some technical difficulties.
This is one of the biggest off Jets history. And from a draft pick standpoint, free agency standpoint, players coming back from injury. You just have so much foundation of what the long-term Jet strategy is, and you got to feel really good about all the pieces coming in. Healthy, good culture, good energy and buzz around the building, around the fan base. I think this is one of the highest points I've been on as a Jet fan in a long, long time.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm 100% on board for that. And I mean, we spoke about last year, and I know fans were, they were so excited with how well the offseason and the draft went for the New York Jets that the expectations were a little too high for Zach Wilson. I call him Mormon Mahomes because he has the great arm talent, and it's true in that fashion as far as the arm talent is concerned. But there was a little bit too high of expectations, and you saw Wilson come out throwing deep bombs, looking for the stuff down the field. He got a quick lesson in the NFL. He took his lumps. He got injured, came back, learned, progressed from that, didn't continue the same mistakes that he did in the beginning of the year. And I think what you're seeing right now from this team is growth. And there should be growth because you have LaFleur in his second year. So now he knows what Michael Carter, Zach Wilson, Davis, and some of these other boys on the offense could do. And so now he could scheme and do little tricks and different things that he wasn't able to do or had to wait towards the end of the year as the offense evolved. And that's when you started to see some more of the trick plays and the different things used. And I think it's exciting because from the reports that have came out so far the camp, Zach Wilson has looked very comfortable in the offense. He's also looked comfortable running the ball with his legs, extending drives, not making mistakes, and obviously showing his physical ability as far as throwing the football. And that's another thing that people don't understand. Like, these kids come in, they're 20, 21 years old. They're not fully developed as human beings yet as far as their profession is concerned because they can add muscle. And you saw Zach adding a few pounds of muscle in this offseason in the leg area to kind of grow from there. I think, Kevin, what do you need to see from him going into the rest of this camp and into preseason that's going to get you excited to see, all right, he's made the change into some growth,
I think the ability to take the checkdowns, to make the easy play, to not try to play, hero ball is going to be where you see him take the easy ones, get drives, and just a more mature in rhythm player that takes what the defense gives him. And I think there's a lot of new tools. I think we'll be looking for chemistry in the preseason and chemistry throughout camp of how, is he relying on Conklin a lot to open things up? We're seeing good things from Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore. So there are a lot of new pieces, Azuma. So even though they might look good in camp, there's going to be times where they got to pick up how they're going to, attack a zone or attack different coverages and things like that. So I look forward to watching them get on the same page and really develop as an offensive unit.
Yeah, absolutely. And you love what you're seeing from some of the young guys that are still coming in, like Brees Hall had a good run today, nice little catch. These little things, it doesn't seem like much. It's in camp. The padded stuff comes, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow or next week. And, they're going to get into it. Unfortunately, injuries happen, and we're no strangers for camp injuries and preseason injuries as Jet fans. So we got to hope that this team goes into the preseason healthy. But let's switch over to the defensive side of the ball in camp. Jermaine Johnson starting to make a little bit of a name for himself here with his speed. Him and Bryce Huff, Salah spoke about both of them and what their ability is what they're be able to do. It brought up a little bit of conversation from McGovern as well, so it'll be interesting to see what the rookies do. It's one of those things where guys are just getting loose. They're getting ready to put the pads on to hit each other. And to get excited about the upcoming season. The one thing that's different than the past is that, man, the season it's gonna go so fast. It's gonna roll right into the season, guys. I mean, you're talking about what, Kevin, preseason games are what, the first week in August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Coming right up. Hall of Fame game should be coming right up.
Yep. So, I mean, it's one of those things when you look at camp, you have to be excited. And one of the things that came out into camp that we're going to get into is Mekhi Becton. We are super excited to see the slim down version of Becton. Now, there is some controversy about Becton because people are saying, right, they're saying, well, he didn't really do too much. He's just been wearing big shirts if you've been watching him. And I said, guys, you will look for any way to nitpick this man, and it's just so unfortunate because he's a really talented player. Now, he was drafted to be the left tackle of the Jets for the next 10 to 12 years. Does that mean because now he's moving to the right side that he will not be the left tackle of the Jets' future? It certainly does not mean that. What it means right now is you had a guy that is in the recent injury prone. You have a guy that put on too much weight. And this is a guy who hasn't had time to learn the pro technique. Even though he's going into his third year, he only really has a real full season of play under his belt if you total everything up with all the injuries and the different things. It's hard to learn and to grow from that when you're constantly rehabbing and you're not on the field practicing your craft. And that's for anything that you do, right? So you got a guy in George Fant that was also brought here that was moved to the right side when he thought he was playing left tackle when he first came to the Jets. And lo and behold, he is now the left tackle of the New York Jets because he put in the hard work. He didn't complain and whine and say, this is not what I signed up for. He came in, played the right side very well, filled in, played the left side, and now he's getting an opportunity to play left tackle for the New York Jets in a contract year for him. Mekhi Becton should take the lessons from George Fant and see what is possible. Learn something on the right side that you're not used to, a little bit of humble pie over there, okay? Because the same thing happened to Fant. He was a left tackle at Seattle, got hurt, moved to the right side, all right? So now the same thing is happening to Becton, okay? Nobody's job is safe. They did not draft Becton, okay? This system needs to work. This quarterback is important. They need continuity there. They're going in the left side. They're going with Fant, Kevin. What do you think?
You need to get off mute. I love that they made the decision. They made the decision quick because we need to get all these new pieces in their places and start building chemistry on the O-line right away. The Jets have built themselves an opportunity to be a really good rushing team with Carter and Hall. Trade it up for a Hall. So you obviously want him to be a big part of your offense, or you don't move up 3 or 4 picks and give up a fifth round. And not having a competition where the tackles keep flip-flopping all practice. Just put them where they're going to be, say where they're going to be, and start ABT and Bechton working together. Today, Tomlinson has never worked with Fant. We got guards flip-flopping, so now McGovern has an adjustment to do because now he's got to build chemistry, not all over again, but to another level with ABT. So
I think the connection's real bad on you right now, Kevin. I don't think we got much of that in. JR, can you confirm if he's coming through, or is it just my connection? Because he's not coming through for me.
Nah, I mean it's kind of like in and out.
Okay, yeah,
Screen's real blurry, so
maybe you could do a restart and then we can get started. Because I don't want to miss that. It's really important and something that he was getting started, so we don't want to miss that. Right. But we'll get back to the Bechton Moves to right tackle so we can give Kevin his chance to be able to speak. But in the meantime, we'll talk about Quan Alexander a little bit, a guy that was just brought here for the New York Jets as a veteran move. Listen, with Quan Alexander, it's exactly what it's going to be. a depth move, but more than that, I think you're going to see if Quan can handle it. He's going to be out there a lot on the New York Jets rotation. He knows the system with Saleh. And, listen, as Rich Cimini reported, that third spot is a question mark, Harris and Nasruddin. It's just, you're not sure what you have there. And so getting a veteran that knows your system, I think it's just a good way of going about, piecing together your team. This is an important year for the New York Jets. They want to make sure that they get the pieces in that they need. And so I'm just so happy. Like Joe Douglas brings in players that just fit. And it's just a stark contrast of what the Jets were just a few years ago when you look at how the team was being built. You had Mike Maccagnan, who, we get on Maccagnan about a lot of stuff, but Maccagnan also set us up financially to be able to dig ourselves out. It wasn't that. For me, it was the pairing once Adam Gase got here. Once Adam Gase got here, it became a huge issue because then it put pressure on Maccagnan. Maccagnan felt like he needed to get players, at least it seemed like this from the outside looking in, the way that they built this team. Is he was picking players for one way, and it seemed like Gase wanted those of another. And it just clashed. Everything clashed. Darnold wasn't a good fit for his system. He didn't use Darnold properly. Like he tried to fit Darnold into his system instead of just, using some of Sam's athleticism that he does have, keeping it simple for him. I think the Panthers tried to do that, right? Last year with Darnold is limit, run with McCaffrey, screen with McCaffrey, pass to McCaffrey, and limit what Sam Darnold, limit those mistakes, which is throwing the ball down the field in coverage. He just doesn't see coverage well. And, he didn't do that. He didn't protect Sam at all. And that's the one thing that you should do as a coach is protect your quarterback. And that's the one thing you should do as a GM is protect your quarterback. And there's Kevin. Boom. He's back. He's looking clear. He's looking fresh. I'm into it. So we were just talking about Quan Alexander brought here just as a little filler. We were just talking about how the Jets may be a little bit unsure about that third option there with Nasruddin Harris, young guys, and bringing in a veteran presence there, someone who knows the system is going to be a big help.
Yeah, no, I think it's huge. The experience, what he can do in the film room, what he can talk to the little nuances for how they want to execute their zones or they want to execute certain coverages, which is where he brings additional value. He's only 27 years old, so it's really excited that he's on a 1-year prove it deal. So he'll be looking to really become a part of the culture and fit in quickly. And we got to also remember our secondary is gelling. So he'll probably be talking to his teammates, but there's probably going to be times he's going to be talking to Pinnock and Whitehead and making sure they're aligned on the same page. And a mature player to add to the locker room. So really excited what he brings. Really smart addition. The one place I hope Joe continues to look is D-tackle. I don't know if we have that big run stuffer, that first and second down player, probably a lot of times just first down, which is maybe why he hasn't invested. But I expect him to, watch cut downs, watch preseason tape, and maybe grab one more defensive tackle to help the defense also.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, the Jets they're actually like the way that they're operating like a team that is going to make a playoff push this year. I mean, when you really look at how they've drafted last year and this year, if they hit, they're operating like how the Dolphins should have operated last year, but kind of fell off for a second. Now, Kevin, let's get back to the Bechton moves to right tackle because I don't want to miss out on that. So, on your take with him moving to the right side, like I was saying before, I don't consider it losing his job. I consider him getting outworked by a professional veteran. And also he's coming back from injury and weight loss. And like you said, I truly believe it was the right thing to do. Just make a decision quickly now and let him get adjusted.
Regardless if it's the right decision, it might be the right decision for right now. And the important thing for me for the Jets was that they made the decision, they made it quick, because this is going to be the first time that Fant and Tomlinson have worked together. It's going to be the first time that AVT is on the right side, at least as a professional. And then the first time, Bechton and AVT, they really didn't get much time together last year because the injury was so soon. And then McCovern, it's almost like he's got two new guards because he's not starting fresh with AVT, but he's still learning him on the right side while learning Tomlinson on his left. We got to build a lot of chemistry. And the important thing is that we made this decision right now, day one, got the guys in the camp. We're not going to go all practices with, all right, Fant, let's see you on the right. Bechton, march over here. So Tomlinson and AVT need to build chemistry with two tackles. No, day one, we're going to develop a rushing attack, hopefully, big investment in Hall, right? And we're bringing Carter back. So I think the Jets, if they want to lean more on the run game and ease into the pass game, which is smart when you have young receivers and a young quarterback, the ability to do that is to really establish a run game with an established O-line that already has chemistry. So and that chemistry should build throughout the season. What they're doing now, we should see the O-line better week 2, then week 4, and then week 6. So really, mature way for the Jets coaching staff to implement this Bechton transition, but also the AVT transition too.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And I mean, man, if this line can stay healthy, there's so much potential. I mean, that right side could be super dangerous in the running game. I mean, it's just unbelievable what could happen. McGovern, I'm going to be watching this man so closely this year to see how he holds up, because he's always got a lot to say, but I think he's got a talented group around him, and I'm just super excited. Now, the biggest test for the Jets leading up to this season for me is consistency. That's what I want to see from this team, is consistency and health. That is the biggest test for the Jets leading up to the season. The signs of a bad football team is inconsistency, making mistakes and doing them over and over again. When you have a team as young as the Jets were last year, I really can't be stressed anymore. But I do every time I push it, because you guys have to understand how green that Jets team really was last year. You're talking about a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new coach in positions that they've never done before, a brand new quarterback, a brand new running back, multiple offensive line pieces, new receivers, new defensive players, new schemes on both sides, new trainers, new management, like new coaches and positions, like position groups. A lot had happened over the course of that off season. There was a lot of new things, a lot of growth that had to happen. And I think, considering how young and how new everything was, I think they did an excellent job. You had a team just 2 years before that should have been way more prepared, in Adam Gase's team, and it wasn't their second go around. I think this go around is going to be different for this, because the first go around was very successful, and the Jets were injured once again, and they persevered through great play calling. There were some weeks last season where the Jets were absolutely stellar in their play calling, and it seemed like no matter what quarterback played, the Jets offensively were able to move the ball. And that's because of play calling and execution. Now, I just want to see more consistency with health, with the main guys, with Moore, Wilson, Davis, these types of guys, Michael Carter, some guys on the offensive line, obviously Bechton, AVT. I want to see more consistency in health so that they're around. And then I want to see consistency in play, because that's showing me that you're growing within the system. That's showing me that you're taking the next step. We have some hefty expectations from the Jets, going all the way from, some people thinking the Jets are going to win 5 games, all the way up to the Jets thinking they're going to win 12 games and go to the playoffs. But what I want to see is the Jets to be consistent and healthy. I don't care if we see Carl Lawson but 1 or 2 snaps this whole time leading up to the season. I don't care, because I need him to be active and ready to go if the Jets are going to be the team that they expect. I need Bechton to hold up on that right side so that we can continue to mash on the run game. I need Davis to be healthy and catch the football and be consistent, so that way Zach Wilson feels like he has that veteran receiver that he could lean on. I need the tight ends to be healthy, so Zach has that midfield guy that he can dump it off to, that could take it a few extra yards and extend drives. These are the things that we need to see, and a lot has to go into that. Preparation, training, luck. Kevin, what do you think of the biggest test for the Jets leading up to the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's again maturing that learning how to win and learning not how to beat yourself. Young teams are going to go through winning games that they're not supposed to win and losing games that they're not supposed to lose. And you see them progress, right? Can the offense execute 2-minute drills? Can the defense stop 2-minute drills? Can we get quick 3 and outs? If we make a turnover, can we get the ball back quickly for the offense and set up short fields? There's going to be a lot of complementary football that you're going to be looking for as the season progresses. And it's those little details of, just like I said, you got a young quarterback. He's going to make mistakes. Can the defense bail him out and get the ball right back in his hands so he can learn for those and execute? Are we going to have special teams and set up short fields? And can the special teams back things up and make the job a little easier for the defense? All those little pieces, those little things fitting together in the puzzle is when you see a team that can go from around 500 to making a playoff push, because the defense can win a game one week and the offense can another, and the special teams can finish things. And those are the things that you'll look slow a little in the preseason of the pieces that can make that happen. But then as the season progresses, who are the guys that the team counts on week to week to close things out, to make big play, to extend drives? It's going to be really exciting to watch that unfold.
Absolutely, man. 100%. I mean, I can't agree more. I mean, when you could just feel the vibe of this team. It's different. It's a different feel as a fan. And I kind of feel the same way I do about the Jets as I did about the Mets going into this year. I'm not saying that the Jets are going to be as good as what the Mets are right now, because the Mets are a first place team on a collision course for a very good playoff run here if they stay healthy. I think the Jets are still a year away from that, but anything can happen. You could take a step up a year early. It's happened to many teams. But for me, yeah, I mean, just the vibe is different. And that's why I had to get season tickets, because I just felt it. I saw the way the season ended. It was big for me. It was big for me in how this team ended their season, where Zach Wilson really cut the turnovers down. And he was missing a lot of weapons. It was not easy. We saw Trevor Lawrence throw interception after interception after interception after interception. Had one of the worst rookie seasons of all time, most likely. One of them, right? Just awful at times. But Zach Wilson learned from his mistakes, and that was big for me, because I just watched Sam Darnold, and just the list goes on and on. You just keep bringing the quarterbacks who they had talent. The arms were there, the ability to escape the pocket was there. They just didn't have that ability to learn from their mistakes in game. And yeah, you could take mistakes and take leadership and say, oh, well, it's my fault that the team is not playing. Great. That's great. But at the end of the day, it's a results league, and the Jets have not had much results from the quarterback position in their history. And the fact of the matter is, this is a quarterback's league. And I'm not even talking about Super Bowls. I'm talking about just winning games. I'm talking about just winning divisions. I'm talking about just getting to the playoffs and being a team that's a playoff team year in and year out for a couple years. Not a team that goes on a magical run once every 10 years. That's not what I want this team to be. And I felt, and I believe, that what they're building right now, if they could hold on, and if this team can have, and this fan base can have some damn patience, we will come to find out that this will be a successful Jets team. I truly believe that. I think everything that they're doing, Kevin, is just well thought out. They don't get burnt on trades too often. I think the draft picks, the up and down in the trades, I think have been excellent. The players that they've brought on the last 2 years seem like they've been really good picks, really good options. And it seems like everything is done in accordance with each other. Like it's done for the system. Every player that comes in, it seems like he has some connection to Salah or some kind of connection to LaFleur. I am super vibed out on this team. I really, really am. And it's just going to be about maintaining the health, getting into the season. But with that being said, Kevin, what are some of the last things you want to say before we get out of here and let these people go for the night?
Guys, enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of these young pieces growing. I mean, we forget our quarterback's still 22 years old. We got a whole team of 22 and 23-year-olds. Like Mekhi Becton's still 23. I think Quinn Williams is 24. Like these are a bunch of kids, and you're watching them blossom, and it's a process. Our goal, and we've said this in lots of weeks, lots of previous episodes for those who have been following us for a long time. Man, we want to be where the Chargers were last year, which is right one game. The difference between the Bengals in the Super Bowl and the Chargers not in the playoffs is one game, 9-8 versus 10-7. And everyone compares us. Can we make a leap like the Bengals? If we make a leap like the Chargers, and then you're like, hey, let's go grab a J.C. Jackson, a Khalil Mack, add the last couple pieces, and let's make a run at it. That's where you want the Jets to be at the end of the season. And there's a lot of young, exciting pieces, and enjoy the process of what we're building the right way from the ground up with young talent that you can get excited to watch every week.
Absolutely, 100%. And you look at these young guys and like just the locker room vibe that they have. You had CJ. I think it was CJ come in with the Zach Wilson Man of the Year or Player of the Year shirt on after the whole scandal thing that went on a couple weeks ago with Zach Wilson's mom. That could have went a completely different way. And I think with a different coach and a different player and a different locker room vibe, this could have been something in the New York media that could have blew up way more than what it is. And people are already forgetting about it because it's just kind of being something like it's handled correctly, right? The players, they're supporting, they're laughing it off, they're joking. And if anything, I think it kind of brought them together more because they kind of rallied around them and they didn't make it a big deal because it's not a big deal. He didn't commit any crimes. He didn't take some drugs. He didn't have a gun in his car and driving erratically on the road. He didn't do any of these things. He just had a personal life. That's all. And we all have personal life situations and they're all different and unique. And so I think it's good because Zach Wilson mentioned something in an interview that I watched not too long ago. And he was saying how it feels like they're growing it from the ground up. And I know what that feels like because I had a job that was similar to that, where even just like the building, literally putting the building together to get it operational before we even worked there, I was part of that. And it really felt like you were building something. And for these guys, everyone is so young. Everyone was so new and in new positions that it really feels like the guys that are there are building something new and special. And I think there's something to that in two ways. One, it takes the pressure off of these guys because there's not some long-standing tradition that they need to live up to at such a young age. But two, there's a bit of importance level there because for them it feels like they're putting a stamp on something that they could call theirs, and they are. And so super excited, 100% to get going and seeing this team week in and week out. And guys, listen, the transition is not going to be easy pulling 3,000 people over to a new platform. But that's just part of it, man. We got to spread out a little bit, and that's just part of the game. You can't just sit on one platform the whole time. And so we appreciate the support. We expect to see you guys transition over the course of the season to watch here at Guru. And man, we got some sick giveaways. We got Curtis Martin jersey we're giving away once we had 200 subscribers. We got a Braden Mann autograph picture that we're giving away. We got some, if we can hit our subscribers before the preseason's over, we got some preseason tickets I'd like to give away to somebody. So we got some different things that we're going to give away, but it starts with you guys. And we got some really hardcore followers that are on the page all the time commenting. It's up to you guys, man. Get out there, share the page, let them know Jets Guru on YouTube. Make sure you follow and subscribe so you get an alert when we go live. And let's see if we could grow this thing and really push, because the only way we're going to get the player interviews and the different things that we want is by exposing our information and our page and our talents to the Jets and the rest of the media world. So that way, when we do ask and we do apply for different things, we have a legit platform that we can stand on. And this will be our second one because we have Facebook and then now we'll have YouTube. So we appreciate the support. Thank you guys very much for everything. JR, thank you for the great intro. It's awesome. It's amazing. Thank you for all the overlays and everything. God does an amazing job. Kevin, thanks for dropping your knowledge as always. And listen, we'll see you next week, Thursday. We'll have some new stuff for you. Pray, no injuries. Let these guys take it nice and easy. And shout out to Mr. Joe Klecko, who made the final cut for the senior candidate for getting to listen. This guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. This is a tragedy. You know, if I think he played during an era too where they didn't even track stats, but there's some information that people have put out there and tape that they've watched where if their sacks were counted, this is how many he would have, et cetera, et cetera. You know, this guy, it's a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but hopefully he'll be there soon. Eric, thanks for the shout out. I appreciate the support, brother. And as always, JETS, 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 Jets. See you soon.
I can feel it coming in the air now. I can feel it.